Before I start, I like to do this because a lot of people don't know. I'm assuming everybody here does know. But the setting for this comes at a time in history that is vital to the telling of the book. In September of 1953, Frederick Benson, who was then Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, dropped dead, heart attack, unexpected thing. So Eisenhower appointed then Governor Earl Warren to take that position. It was a recess appointment. This is what a lot of people don't know. If Congress and Senate had been in session, there's a strong possibility Warren would not have been appointed because he was controversial. So Eisenhower did it. Warren took over the court 2 months before the arguments in Brown v. Board. And he was not really he was not judicial, he was a politician. Of course, he was a lawyer, but he'd done more politics than anything else. And so he took over. Brown v. Board was argued in December of '53. Brown v. Board won. And right after the arguments, he took off, Warren took off to visit the Civil War battle sites. He was a Civil War buff historian and had lived on the West Coast for a long time, so he was taking advantage of being there. And first night, and he was with his black chauffeur, who was a real authority on the Civil War, a real scholar. First night, they stayed in Richmond, and Warren checks into a hotel, and he assumes his chauffeur will find lodgings. Next morning, he comes out and finds that his chauffeur has spent that December night on the back seat of the car because he couldn't find a hotel room for a black man in that city so close to the nation's capital. So that really crystallized Warren's passion for desegregating, ending segregation de jure, which Brown v. Board, of course, ended, but it didn't. It ended the law, but it didn't end the segregation. But anyway, I'm getting off the topic. So he cut the trip short, he went back to D.C., and he started what turned out to be an incredibly tough job to convince the court to be of one accord, because he was certain that a split decision was not going to send a strong enough message to the nation that the doctrine of separate but equal was unconstitutional. So in May of 1954, as we all know, the Supreme Court handed down a unanimous decision in Brown v. Board. And I've read the history between December and May, and I'm telling you, he had a tough job. There were 3 justices who were very much against it. Later, I don't tell everybody this, but later Eisenhower said that he'd made 2 mistakes in his presidency, and both of them were sitting on the Supreme Court. So that was Warren and then Brennan were both turned out to be both turned out to be real civil rights opponents, and you know, Republicans, and Eisenhower thought he could trust them. So May, they hand down the unanimous ruling, and then there were immediate reactions to that throughout the country, but especially in the South. An upsurgence of a resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan, and in September, October or so of that year, the formation of white citizens councils, which were the groups that controlled the money. If you registered to vote, they'd call your mortgage or you'd get fired. So I couldn't call in my book a White Citizens Council because they didn't start until September or October in Georgia, and my book is set in North Carolina. The chief setting is North Carolina in August. So in my book it's called the White Businessmen's Association. So I'll just start from chapter 1.